A Jose Olusegun or Olusegun a Jose. For some reason, they reversed the pronunciation of the name. I think that's what it is, Olusegun a Jose. He beats Hank Lundy tonight. He beats him on points. Olusegun will have a slight edge in the skills and creating punching angles department. He'll have a slight edge on Hank. Hank can crack and he's quite a decent offensive fighter. I also think Jose has got the edge in conditioning too. I know Hank's been doing a lot of strength conditioning work. I've seen him talking about it on his FB page and we touched on it in the interview. But I still think the cardiovascular edge goes to a Jose. The only reason, and it's a massive reason, that Olusegun lost to Matisse is Matisse's belief in his power. That was the only difference. Lundy's not going to have the luxury of that thought process. He won't have that luxury. He hits, he can punch, but he's not in that league. He's not in that league at all. I'm expecting a Jose to throw enough combinations. He's very fit as well, takes a good shot. I think he's more sturdy than Hank. I think he is more sturdy than Hank. I don't think he can knock Hank out. I think it would be a tough fight. But I see Olusegun's movement and hand speed combinations, etc. just being probably too much, and he'll run out a points winner. Obviously, I hope Lundy wins because, you know, he's granted us a few interviews and has always been cool with us. And he'll probably grant us a post-fight interview, right? So yeah, ulterior motives aside, I have to be honest, and Jose's the pick. Derek Chisora and Malik Scott. I think Malik, who hasn't fought the level of competition that Derek has, Malik, who says he's going to stand his ground and fight with Derek, but he's never done it before at a lesser level, but all of a sudden he's going to do it with Derek. In saying that, I'm saying at a lesser level, Derek hasn't really won much of his recent fights. But this is one of the toughest brawlers that Malik has faced. Why all of a sudden are you going to play Mr. Tough Guy and stand toe-to-toe with Derek? I think Derek, the London crowd, roaring him on. Malik, who to me doesn't commit enough on his punches, and that's why they stole the decision away from him against Glasgow, or whatever his name is. I don't see him getting anything out of this fight. If you wasn't going to commit against Glasgow, why are you going to commit against Derek, whose punch volume is much higher than Glasgow's? You could say Glasgow punches harder than Derek, but how do you know that? Who's Glasgow put over? The difference in punching power is very marginal between the two. I think Derek's a better fighter than Glasgow. I think he throws better combinations. And he ran Malik close. I thought Malik won the fight. You could say it was a robbery, but he did run him close. And that's because Malik allowed him to. I think Derek, even more so than Glasgow, can impose his will on Malik Scott. And like I said, the Wembley crowd is going to be roaring Derek forward. You ain't going to get no mercy here. You know what I mean? Don't try and counterpunch and barely score enough punches to win the round and expect to get a decision over here. That's not going to happen for you. That's not going to happen for you. You've never fought in this way you said you were going to fight, in the only way that you can fight and get a decision over here. You never did it before. So Malik Scott is going to be embarking on strange territory today. If the Vitaly Klitschko, Robert Helenius Derek Chisora shows up, and I hear he's in good shape, Malik won't be fighting toe-to-toe like he says he's going to because he has an option to. He'll be doing that because he has to if that Derek shows up. Trust me on that. I like Derek by a possible controversial decision to beat Malik Scott. That's what I want. I'm going for Derek on points and Malik not to get nothing unless he knocks Derek out. Garcia versus Matisse has been added to the Mayweather and Alvarez bill, and it's a great look. It's a great look. I also hear that Trout versus Lara is on the bill, and to me, that is Don King standard fight card from the 90s, in my opinion. Right? That's all I can say. Excellent. Excellent. That is what we call no stream boxing. if you can afford to buy this fight in whatever package they deliver it to you in your country, you should support it on some real boxing fan shit. Chavez Jr. returns against Brian Vera. I think Chavez Jr. buries him late on in the fight. Just, you know what I mean? That's what I feel there. Mike Tyson apparently is going to become a boxing promoter. Iron Mike Productions. His first venture will be an ESPN televised card. It will be topped by super featherweights Argenis Mendez and Arash Yusamani at the Turning Stone Resort Casino in Verona, New York. This is a venture that Mike has taken up with Equinity Sports and somebody named Gary Jonas, who's worked with Shannon Briggs, Felix Diaz and Juan Guzman. Scott Quigg gets a shot at the WBA Super Bantamweight title against Yorandis Salinas, and that will be later this year in Britain. Salinas is a fighter from the Golden Boy stable, and I don't know much about Salinas to make a prediction on that fight, but it should be interesting. British lightweight John Murray says he feels born again, like a man possessed. Yeah, you see, that's what happens, you know what I mean? You've had time for the swelling, various swellings that he's had on his face in punishing losses to Kevin Mitchell and Brandon Rios. Probably went on holiday, you know, and you feel good now. But you're going to go in there and fight the same way that got your face swollen up like it did. Just too reckless. I shouldn't get too down on news of his comeback. But, you know, the Gallagher guys or brothers or whatever they are, I'm not talking about Oasis, they have developed a rep for training boxers not to excel in defense. So, I don't see where he goes from here. But he has a shot at British level against Derry Matthews and Anthony Crowler and them guys there. He has a shot. And Gavin Reese and them guys. He has a shot at that. Gabriel Campillo, he's going to fight Andre Fonfara. And he says he's in fantastic shape. Apparently, when he fought Korolev, or I don't know if I butchered that, he only flew into the country where the fight took place a couple of days beforehand and didn't have time to acclimatize. That's the excuse that comes out of his camp. I'm not saying that. He had a few other problems, but that's his fault as well. So this is make or break for him. Fonfara, who hasn't fought this year, I remember him beating Glenn Johnson and prematurely retiring Johnson on points. He seems to have the momentum right now, and he will be favoured to win on points, but I'm not sure if he will. I'm actually going to go for Campillo to pull off the shot victory in that one. Mickey Bay takes on Badu Jack in a battle of unbeatens at super featherweight. He had the recent drugs controversy where he was cleared of that, and it seemed that a lot of people didn't want to let the world know that he was cleared, but it was quick to let everyone know that he was guilty when they thought he was guilty. But Mickey Bay is clean and he's back in action, and I assume that's going to be on the Hank Lundy Elusigan card. I don't know much about Badu Jack, but he'll be going into the fight with an unbeaten fighter's mentality, so we'll see how that one goes. Well, I don't understand. If Mickey Bay was cleared, how comes his last fight is still rendered a no contest? I don't know. Only boxing knows. Back on the home front, Oval McKenzie takes on Enzo Maccarinelli in a long-awaited rematch. Oval won the last fight last year by a controversial stoppage. I think it was in the second round. He landed one decent shot. Didn't seem to trouble Enzo that badly. And Ian John Lewis jumped in. And when he realized that maybe I shouldn't have did that, it was a little too late. I have to tip Oval to knock Enzo out. You know, some of Enzo's knockouts in recent years have just been fight reel footage, vintage fight reel footage, man. He's been knocked out spectacularly. And Oval is a big puncher. I think he's probably just a little too rugged, punches a little too hard at this stage of both men's careers. So, you know, Oval to take him out in the first 7 or 6. Couple of fighters who need to step up, who have just sprung to mind. Kell Brook, Gary Russell, James DeGill, and George Groves. And we're going to wrap this one up now. And I'm just going to wrap it up with one of the most popular misconceptions in boxing. It's just a bit of trivia. Contrary to popular belief, boxers do not have to register their hands as legal or lethal weapons or however you want to term it. No, they don't. It's not true. I actually believed it until one of the first times I went on the internet, man. I started just going through some boxing sites and pages and whatever. And then I stumbled on it. I said, wow, okay. And that was in 2005. For some reason, it's been floating around as one of the biggest misconceptions in boxing. So that is not true. And on that note, peace out.